With X-Men 97 Season 2 set to debut this summer, we've finally gotten our first official look at this season, courtesy of some promotional material and merchandise. So join me, Wheels, as I break it all down for you. And spoilers, obviously.
What do they call you? Wheels?
So I'm going to start with the Funko Pops, which are notorious for spoiling characters and costumes months before release. First of all, we have not one, but two apocalypses. One is his younger self, Ensabanur, which we did see at the end of Season 1 when some of the X-Men were time travelled back to ancient Egypt. And the second is his present day usual form, which I think is a pretty big indication that we will get a follow-up of that post-credits teaser in the Season 1 finale, and that we will see present-day Apocalypse return as well. Next, we have our first look at the new Wolverine design, which is designated as Wasteland. This designation is also included with Storm, Cyclops and Jean's Funko Pops, which suggests that they all ended up in the year 3960 AD together. Now this is clearly inspired by Wolverine's Bone Claw's Feral era, a look which debuted in Onslaught X-Men in 1996. After Magneto forcibly removed the adamantium from Logan's body in the crossover Fatal Attractions, something which also just happened in X-Men 97, Wolverine was later kidnapped by Apocalypse's henchmen, the Dark Riders, and had the adamantium rebonded to his skeleton. But his body rejected this, and instead he began to regress physically and mentally, leading to this look. I do wonder if they'll go so far as to include the no-nose aspect of the Bone Claws Wolverine, which frankly, in my opinion, is the most iconic part of the entire Bone Claws era. Moving on, we then have Professor X, who is sporting his black leather New X-Men design by Frank Quitely, which debuted in New X-Men issue 114 in 2001. Now, the Frank Quitely designs have long been rumoured to be included in this season, and I haven't seen the leaked Comic-Con trailer, so this, to me, is my first confirmation that that's 100% happening, which is exciting. Plus, this Funko even includes Professor X's unique electric wheelchair that was included in this run as well. Moving away from the space alien hover chair. I forgot to add that this Funko also includes the designation of X-Corp, which obviously confirms the existence of X-Corp in X-Men 97 Season 2. Now, for those that don't know, X Corporation was set up by Professor X in the wake of the destruction of Genosha in the New X-Men run as a non-profit organization meant to investigate mutant rights violations and act as an international extension of the X-Men entity. So there were plenty of global offices in places like LA, Mumbai, Hong Kong, and Paris. And they were all run by mutants, so we can expect plenty of mutant cameos in this season. Cable is also getting his very own Funko Pop, but it's noticeable that he's remained in his classic 90s look, which is interesting considering everyone else is sort of getting different costumes. But I suppose as a time traveler, he could be in any of the time periods we see, so it'll be interesting to see where he pops up. Now, on to Storm, who, as I mentioned earlier, seems like will be ending up in the future alongside Cyclops and Jean. Here she's resorted to wearing an X-Men training uniform, something she has worn in the comics. She first donned it in Uncanny X-Men Annual Issue 14 after being de-aged. Don't worry about it. And she wore it for a brief period up until the 1991 relaunch, where she first donned her famous white outfit. While this is a fine outfit, with the X-Men 97 show really exploring and expanding the references to different costumes, I was really hoping we'd get to see some of Storm's more obscure outfits, maybe one of her late 90s outfits instead. Maybe we'll get that at some point in the series. A boy can dream. Finally, with the Funko Pops, we have Cyclops and Jean Grey in their Wasteland outfits, which consists of them wearing leather jackets over their classic X-Factor costume. Yes, in the 80s, the original 5 X-Men formed their own separate team known as X-Factor. And these particular outfits originate from X-Factor issue 26, which funny enough is the aftermath to the Fall of the Mutants event, where Cyclops and Jean had their very first direct encounter with the villain known as Apocalypse. See? It's all connected. Also, I just love these costumes, particularly Jean's, so I'm very happy to see that these will be shown to a wider audience, and hopefully we can convince the general public that there are better X-Men outfits out there than the 90s. Moving on to the poster, we get our first look at presumably the 16 main characters of this season of X-Men 97, along with a better look at some of the new designs in animation and some new character and costume reveals as well. The biggest surprise to me is the inclusion of Polaris, the daughter of Magneto, on this poster. She had only minor cameos in the very first season, but her appearance here implies a much bigger role for season 2. I suppose she really wants to find where her father's gone. And I would love to see her out of that X Factor uniform and maybe into her classic green uniform. That would be really exciting. Another quick note about Storm on this poster is the reveal that she's got a ponytail. Now, couple the ponytail with the training uniform, and that is something she wore back when she, as I mentioned previously, was the age to be 12. So that makes me think, what are the chances that during the time travel warp, Storm also ends up being de-aged as well? It's not a choice I'd want them to do, but I can low-key see them trying to fit that story in there as well. Then we get Sunspot, also in a new costume. After spending the entirety of season 1 in that ugly jacket, he finally upgraded to his New Mutants design for the season finale. Now he's leveled up to his 90s X-Force design, which debuted in X-Force issue 19. This choice makes me think that maybe the remaining X-Men in the present, Bishop, Jubilee, Forge, and Sunspot, become more of an X-Force adjacent team in reaction to the rest of the team going missing. I mean, everyone bar Jubilee has been on an X-Force team before, so it's not exactly out of the blue. Either that or Cable remains in the present and forms X-Force alongside Roberto, and maybe we'll get a chance to see some other X-Force members. Boom Boom, Shatterstar, Warpath, Siren, Deadpool? He was listed as AWOL at the conclusion of season 1, so maybe that's what he's been up to. Rogue, who is stuck in the past with Professor X, Beast, Magneto, and Nightcrawler, also has a new look, ditching her Brotherhood outfit that she wore in the finale. This one is inspired by her second ever costume, a brief orange tunic look from Uncanny X-Men issue 182, which is a real deep pull. It looks like in the time between season 1 and season 2, Jubilee has grown her hair out into a bob, and looking to the comics for her reference, her hair seemed to be its longest when she was a member of the teen group Generation X, which was led by Emma Frost and Banshee, or when she was a vampire. So, two wildly different paths there, and I don't really see how either of those could fit into season 2, but we'll just have to see. Magneto also has a slightly different design, although I can't pinpoint an exact reference yet. Personally, I get the vibe that it might be akin to his new X-Men design, but that might just be me extrapolating from the fact that we know the new X-Men designs are going to be included in this season. Nightcrawler, Beast, and Morph are all wearing different clothes, but I can't exactly distinguish particular costumes from them, though they are included in this poster, along with Forge and Bishop, though they're just wearing their classic costumes we already saw in season 1. Bottom line, I would love to see new costumes for everyone. So the main takeaways from the posters and the Funko Pops are this. Wolverine, Storm and Morph are confirmed to have ended up in the Ascani future alongside Cyclops and Jean, and are all receiving new Wasteland outfits based on previous costumes. Additionally, I have that wild theory that Storm might actually be de-aged due to her costume, but hopefully it's just a reference point and not a story point. Plus, it looks like in the present day, Polaris might be joining the X-Men to hunt for the other X-Men, and there might even be a new X-Force team on the horizon. But what are your thoughts on these new costumes? Who else would you like to see join the main X-Men team? And what are your feelings towards Season 2 as we get ever closer? Let me know down below in the comments, like if you enjoyed the video, and subscribe if you want to see more videos from me about X-Men 97 Season 2, because as more and more things come out, I'll do more and more videos covering it all, just so you know exactly what's going on. But with that, I'll see you all in the next video.